All right, guys, excuse me if I randomly say a school because we just got done 20 minutes of making a 4-minute volleyball video, and I have a lot of different schools in my head. Speaking of a lot of schools, we don't have a lot of schools playing this week.
Yeah.
Mohatchee's going to Pisgah. Thursday, White Plains of Welborn. I'm going to go to Pisgah and see Indians win. We're going to have somebody at White Plains Welborn. But
I'll be at volleyball.
Yeah. You'll be at volleyball on Thursday because we're going to have somebody playing for state. If you want to know who, watch our video.
Maybe two somebodies.
Oh, maybe more. Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6. You never know. Clay Central Hamlin.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty good matchup. Clay Central is obviously got one loss. They beat Beauregard, who was supposed to was the favorite to win 5A this year, and then Hanley, after a slow start, losing their first couple of games, they went on a roll. They beat Leeds, beat Mumford. So I mean, they won a very tough region. So that should be a good game. I have to see. I'd probably have to say like Clay Central right now, but I think it could be I wouldn't count Hanley out.
They have Leah Stern on the sidelines. You can never count them out.
Yeah.
I'll be at Saks Weaver, which is probably pretty much as difficult to pick as Clay Central Hanley. I've seen Saks twice this week. Laderick Bell's the truth. Weaver is kind of obviously the traditional Jekyll and Hyde team as they have been. I think if Weaver plays well, they can beat Saks. If Saks airs out the ball a decent amount, runs the ball effectively, they can win. It's probably 49-51. It's really a toss-up and who's going to win. This is really for bragging rights, though. These two teams, it's not hate. It's just their fans like to talk, and they're really close friends. They know each other. They hang out on the weekends. So this is really just for bragging rights.
Anniston Fort Payne game's interesting to me. Anniston picked up a big win last week, and then Fort Payne beat Pell City last week on the last-second hook and ladder.
Right.
So I mean, this is two games, two teams that are going to be wanting to go out with a win. So I think that one will be interesting. Anniston had a lot of high expectations going into 4A, coming down to 4A from 5A, and the season didn't work out. And then Fort Payne seems like they've gotten better, so I think that'll be an interesting game.
I'd have to go to the Bulldogs, in my opinion, on that one.
I think so too.
Woodland at Donahoe. I think the Falcons just have a couple more playmakers than Woodland does at this point in the season. If Mitchell Becker plays, I'm not sure.
They had some injuries last week, which was tough for him, playing last week. So, but I like, Woodland's had a rough go of it this year. I think Donahoe's got more playmakers.
How close is Oniana Piedmont going to be?
Maybe 14 points. Maybe.
Obviously in favor of the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Does Oxford keep its perfect regular season?
They do. They'll cap off perfect regular season this week.
Pleasant Valley Spring Garden.
I think Spring Garden's going to get some revenge from last week's loss to Cedar Bluff. But Pleasant Valley, you got to say, I know they didn't get in the playoffs like they were wanting to do, but that was definitely a much improved football team from last year.
Right. Just wrapping it up, House on the Fire. If you kind of hyped this one up a little bit in the office.
It's an interesting game because Fife's they won the state championship in 2014. They won it. They played for it last year in 2015. They're undefeated, number one team in 2A. But Cleveland County's a 5A school.
Yeah.
You would think they'd have an advantage over them, but they're having to go to Fife. That's a long drive up on Sand Mountain. So Cleveland County hasn't had the year. They won it, but they played well against Silicaga last week. So I think that'll be a good game. I'll be interested to see how it turns out because, to be honest with you, I'm really not sure.
Right, and we aren't sure how a lot of these a fair amount of matchups are going to go this Friday night. So check back in on Friday to see what we have to say about the results of those unsure games. Until then,